You might be asking yourself, why in the world am I watching another air fryer hamburger video? There are tons of them out there. I'm sure you've seen some. But this one is going to be different, I promise. Welcome to the Salt and Pepper, where we cook for real life using real food and we keep it real simple. Today, I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks so that you can have perfect hamburgers. And guess what? These will work whether or not you're going to use your air fryer or you're going to use your grill or even your stovetop. So these tips are going to help you make delicious, perfectly formed and perfectly cooked burgers. I promise. All right, the first thing we're gonna do is talk about the meat choice. So I'm using ground chuck 80-20, and that's what I like to use for my burgers when I do an all beef burger. However, you could use pork, you can use a leaner beef, and then add in some ground pork for some extra fat, and don't get the lean kind. You really want some fat in your burger so that they stay nice and juicy. We're gonna talk a little bit more about that a little later in the video. But for right now, let's just focus on what kind of meat you're gonna use. Don't get ground sirloin. Don't do it. You will have the toughest, driest, ickiest burgers. No matter how you cook them, it's horrible. Jeff made that mistake. I cooked these up one time from ground sirloin. I was like, what is this? It was horrible. So do yourself a favor, get 80-20 and try to find ground chuck. You're gonna be super happy with that. All right, next thing to do. And I know people are gonna be screaming at me for this one. Don't guess when you're making your hamburger patties. Weigh them out. Yes, it's an extra step. However, if you're making, especially if you're making more than one, you want them to cook evenly. You want them to be ready at the same time. And the way that they're gonna cook nice and even and be completely cooked through perfectly is if they are the same size. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. What is the perfect size for a burger? Well, I'm so glad you asked, because that varies depending on how big your appetite is. However, if you want a really delicious, juicy, thick burger like you would get at a restaurant, you want to start out with 6 ounces of ground meat, okay? So each one of these is gonna be 6 ounces. Now, sometimes I'll do 4 ounces if I'm gonna do little smaller slider varieties. That's perfectly fine, but they tend to cook really fast and they dry out some. So if I'm gonna have that big juicy burger on a bun, definitely using 6 ounces. You can do a little bit more. So if you have a big appetite, you can go all the way up to 8 ounces if you want. All right, here is 6 ounces. And now the next thing that we're gonna do, I'm gonna put this over to the side because I know that this was 12 ounces total. So my other bit of ground beef will be 6 ounces there. Now, what is the next mistake people do with their ground meat when they're forming the burgers? They add an egg. They add seasonings. They add all kinds of things. Don't do that. We're not making meatloaf. We're making a hamburger, okay? And a hamburger, the best way to season it is after you form the patty. And there's a scientific reason for this. When you add in seasoning, especially salt, there's a chemical reaction that happens with the meat, binds things together and makes it tougher, okay? So don't do that. Definitely season afterwards. And I'm using equal parts salt and pepper. That's my go-to seasoning for burgers. You could use any kind of seasoning you like, any combination. You could add in garlic and onion powder and all those kind of delicious things. Just season the outside. All right, next thing, how to form it, okay? Yes, we do want to kind of combine our meat a little bit. You don't want to see the strands, you know, as you see them when they're in the package where they come out of the meat grinder. You don't want to see that. But you don't want to overwork it either. Again, we're not making meatloaf. We want a nice, tender burger. When we bite into it, it just sort of comes apart and then, you know, quickly like falls apart in our mouth. That's what we want. So just a little brief shaping with your hands until you can no longer see any of the lines, but you haven't overworked the meat. Then the next step, use a burger press. Okay, now you might not have one, it's all right. I love using it. If you don't have a burger press, what you can do is put your ball of meat down, press it down, but then take something flat like a plate, press it down even more. So the next mistake that people make all the time is they form their burgers just like that. It looks good, right? Looks really good. However, what's going to happen is it's going to shrink up and it's going to puff up a little bit, but it's going to shrink up and it's going to be teeny tiny on your bun. So when you start out, you want your burger to be shaped a little bit bigger than your bun, probably about a 1/4 inch bigger than the bun you're going to put it on, okay? That's going to make for a perfectly sized burger to bun ratio, which is super important and overlooked a lot of times. All right, I'm gonna use my handy dandy burger press here because it makes it really simple and I get nice even burgers. All right, there we go. All right, that looks good. So what we see here is a nice burger, okay? On this side, there's a little dimple in it. That's done by my burger press. If you don't have a burger press, take a spoon or your thumb and put a little dimple down in the center, okay? That helps them not puff up. But that's not the only thing that helps them not puff up. So I'm gonna get into that in just a minute. Let me make the other burger and season it up with salt and pepper and get our air fryer preheated. I'm gonna use the air fryer to cook these because I'm indoors, and believe it or not, I don't have a grill anymore, unfortunately. And I love the way the air fryer burgers turn out. Okay, so I'm gonna get this preheated. All right, I'm on air fry, I'm on 390. I wanna be up, actually I wanna be down to 375 for this recipe. 20 minutes is fine, it doesn't really matter, we're just preheating. I wanna preheat for about 10 minutes. Now, if you're using an oven or, because you can bake your burgers too if you want to, it's no problem. If you're using an oven or an air fryer, this is one of the times that I don't recommend preheating on the hottest setting. And the reason being is my next tip, okay? And that is because another thing that causes your burgers to ball up, and you know what I'm talking about because we've all had them at picnics, right? Where you get your burger and it looks like this, and then you can't put your condiments on. They're all falling all over the place because the burger puffed up like a hockey puck. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, the reason that happens, not just because we didn't put the little dimple in, but because of steam building on the inside, sort of puffing, and then as the outside of the burger cooks, it shrinks. So we've got steam from the middle and shrinkage, and all of a sudden we have this burger ball, okay? We don't want that, so we don't want our air fryer too hot when we start out. Now, is it the end of the world if you preheat on the hottest setting? No, it's not. I've done it. But you definitely don't want to cook on the hottest setting. So 375 is what we're going to preheat on and cook on. All right, so we preheated for about 10 minutes, and what I did was gather my bun and all the condiments that I want to put on my burger, and I'll go over the bun in just a second because that is the second most important thing after you choose your meat that you're going to use for your burgers. All right, now that the air fryer is preheated, and this would go for the grill too, you're gonna add your burgers right there, and you want the little dimple side up for now. Put those in. Now these are gonna be kind of close together, but it's gonna be perfectly fine, okay? Don't worry about it. All right, so now we close the air fryer, and then my next tip is don't flip and don't press down on your burgers, okay? Whether you're grilling them or using your air fryer, let them cook for a good 5 to 7 minutes on that one side before you even try to remove them. I am sure that you have at some point made a burger, gone to flip it, and it's just falling apart all over the place. Super frustrating. And that is because, number one, it wasn't formed well enough. That's number one. But number two, it wasn't cooked long enough on the one side. When the burger is cooked correctly on that one side, it will release easily and you'll be able to flip it all in one piece. So don't open up the lid of the air fryer or the grill for at least 5 minutes, and don't try to flip until then, okay? All right, next thing, let's get into the bun. This is probably one of my biggest pet peeves of all time. When you are served a burger with the wrong kind of bun. You know the kind I'm talking about. You have a really juicy, substantial burger, and once you put your condiments on it and your lettuce, tomato, whatever you want, you go to pick it up and the bun is just falling apart. It is not equipped to handle the burger, okay? This is true of most hamburger buns that you buy at the grocery store. Skip them. They make great little sandwiches, but they don't make good hamburger buns. Instead, you want to look for a brioche or even a pretzel roll is good, okay? And you want to pick one that, again, is about 1/4 of an inch smaller than what your burger starts off with, okay? Because your burger is going to shrink quite a bit. In fact, it shrinks so much, we're only going to end up with 4-ounce burgers here, even though we started off with 6, okay? All right, next thing, this is another little tip, okay, is be lazy. Dump your mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup, relish, dill pickle, whatever, into one bowl and mix it up. It's going to taste just as delicious, if not better, on your burger than if you slathered with mayo and then ketchup and just built this all up. It's going to be amazing, and it is super easy, and you can make it ahead of time, and it's a great fry sauce as well. All right, so it's been just about 6 minutes. Let's take a peek and see how they're doing. Please, please, no burger balls, right? No burger balls. No burger balls. They look good. They look really, really good. All right, now, the reason why I say flip, even though technically you don't have to flip, is because I like to get some of this top here, and my air fryer does a better job at cooking the bottom, and I see like this pink stuff coming out, which is not blood, it's myoglobin and proteins and things, but I like to flip because I don't want to see that when I serve my burger. So now we are going to flip it over. Oh, these look so good. Oh my gosh, they're perfect. All right, now we're going to cook another 4 minutes for a total of 10 minutes. So 5 to 7 minutes on the one side, flip, and then go the remaining 10 minutes on the other side. And my next tip is don't poke it with a thermometer right now. Okay, you can do that later, but not right now, because what's gonna happen if you poke it too soon, you're gonna have all these glorious juices come out and dry out your burger, okay? So don't do that, leave it alone, trust the timing. If you make the burgers, they're 6 ounces, and you form them to where they're about 3/4 of an inch thick, this is going to be your timing in an air fryer, okay? Now, we will take a temperature, so no worries. I like my burgers medium, but if you like yours well done, you can just cook another 2 minutes and it's going to be perfectly fine, okay? All right, there we go. They look amazing. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Look at that. No burger bowls. Oh, I love it. All right, now I just scrape this stuff off here and throw my bun right on in and close the air fryer and go the rest of the 4 minutes to toast my bun because I like them toasted. All right, let's take a temperature and see where we are. Now, medium would be somewhere between 140, 150. Medium well, which is okay with me as well, is somewhere between 155, 150, 160. And then well done is 165. Now, the USDA does recommend that you cook your burgers to an internal temp of 165. That is because there's bacteria sometimes on the outside of the beef, and when it's ground up, it can be mixed in. So that's what they recommend. I don't like mine cooked that done. In fact, mine are reading 159, which is at the upper limit of how I like them. So I could have taken them off a minute earlier. Let's go ahead and take another temperature of this one. And that one is a little bit less, 153. Yep, so we're good to go for what I like. If you wanted yours 165, definitely just take them 2 more minutes and you're gonna be fine. Maybe even another minute, okay? If you want them less done than that, then obviously cut your time down. But leave your temperature the same for the best results so that you don't have those puffy burgers. All right, let's take a peek here. Whoa, they're done too. Look at that, that was quick. I might have overdone that too, talking too much. All right, turn this off. We are done. Oh, I cannot wait. I don't have any lettuce. I normally like lettuce on mine. Guess what else I forgot? I forgot to melt the cheese on top. How silly am I? Well, what do we do when we don't remember to melt the cheese? How about we just stick it in here for a second? How about we just stick it right back in and close the lid while I dress the burger, okay? Things happen. All right, and I didn't even turn it on because it is hot enough in there. All right, a little bit of my special lazy sauce. And then I will put a little bit of tomato. Move that. Jeff can take that to work. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Although my bun is quite toasted. That's melted enough. Look. Oh my gosh. Perfectly sized burger. So the burger is just where it needs to be for the bun. So we're gonna have great bun to burger ratio. Not too bready, not too burgery. It's perfect. And let's see, how close are we to the 4 ounces that I said we were gonna get to after cooking? Let's see. 4.4. Okay. Oh, actually, it was on 0.1, so 4.3. So pretty darn close, right? So you do lose 2 ounces in juices, fat, things like that. All right, here we go. Oh my gosh, the perfect burger. It's amazing.